Hey y'all, this is Martha Parker from the Texas A&M Ergo Center coming at you from my home office. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today is working from home. We're going to cover just a few topics. One thing I want us all to keep in mind is that even though we have plans, they may need to change, especially now. We have things that look like plan A, we amend to plan B, and then real life gets in the way and it's kind of squirrely. So we think, what is the point of even having a plan? What is the point of having expectations? I think those expectations can give us boundaries, but only if they're reasonable. Reasonable for ourselves and reasonable for the people with whom we live. That reasonableness of expectations is going to make them attainable. So one way to think about regular expectations and reasonable expectations is to act as if. So if we act as if we're in our normal workplace, doing our normal job tasks with our normal people around, we may be more successful than if we get stuck into how things are different and all the stuff that's changing and kind of the swirl of negativity that could be entering our work life right now. And so what we need to do is act as if we are still doing our jobs, doing them well, and doing them to the best of our ability. And sometimes we just need to do the basics, right? So plenty of good quality sleep is the foundation for being successful. Getting up at the same time every day can help you get those hours of good quality sleep. And by all means, if you need to set a schedule for going to bed and waking up, then do that. One of the other things we can do every day that will help us is exercise or get some sort of movement in. So if we happen to be in a funk, exercise may help to bring us out of that, or it can help stave off that funk if we feel ourselves going down the hill. So funny, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and my husband and I, when she started doing school from home, we kind of set out the schedule for her, like, you're going to wake up and you're going to do this and you're going to do this, and then we're going to have lunch, and then you're going to go outside and do some stuff, and then, everything, right? So we had this whole schedule down. Well, she's 15 and she didn't get out of bed before noon. And for the first week, it was really frustrating because we're like, dude, we set the schedule for you and you're totally ignoring it. And she just was like, well, I'm getting all my stuff done, so what's the big deal? And she was right. The schedule that we had set for her didn't work. So we had and amended our expectations as far as the schedule went, but she performed, and she performed really well. So be flexible. Know that your work on time and your work off time may look different than what they did before we started working from home regularly. So if you went in and you started work at 8 a.m. and you left at 4:30, that may be different. You may crank out a lot in the early morning and then spend a little bit more family time in the middle of the day and then crank out some stuff after dinner. So all kinds of stuff changes during that day. So be flexible with yourself. Maybe negotiate with your partner or another adult or somebody else in your house, a teenager, that you have specific work hours. So during these hours, you're going to be working, and that's how that works. And then you can maybe trade off with somebody else. So having that communication and that negotiation with somebody ahead of time can help you set those reasonable expectations. When you are working, having a way to take breaks is super important. So this is a way to introduce movement throughout your day. I use an Hourglass. There are software packages that right now have a free version that you can load on your computer. Or you can just use like a timer on your phone or a kitchen timer to remind yourself that when you are doing that focused work, you need to get up and take a break and move around. And so use those tools to your advantage. Also, interruptions. We know they're going to happen. And so, again, with your reasonableness of expectations of yourselves and others, know they're going to happen, have a plan for it. My daughter and I have French doors on my home office. My daughter and I do sign language through the French doors when I'm on a Zoom call or at a webinar or doing something like this. I just give her the don't bother me sign, and she's like, oh, okay. So, but she's 15. We have these signs, but we've communicated that ahead of time so that my interruptions are minimized during the day. Speaking of communication, communication is difficult even in the best of times. So be clear, be concise, and make sure that what you mean is what is being understood. And I can almost guarantee you that all of the time you are never over communicating, especially with people that you live with. You're having to communicate with them in a whole different way about things that you've never communicated with them before. How to do this and when to do this and all those things. Be clear, be concise, and don't ever think that you're over communicating. And finally, this has never happened before. There is no go by. There is no, we have recommendations and we have all that stuff, but there is no, this is how it's going to be and this is how it should be, because we're all kind of flying blind. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and try things. And if they don't work, amend them and try them again. Figure it out, but take some time to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Thanks so much, and enjoy working from home.